Hi guys, it's Mindee. I would like to give you a drum lesson today. Today I would like to show you a late beginner intermediate level beat. It's very much pattern based, and we're also going to look at how the limb combinations fit together in patterns to make the whole thing. So let me show you what I'd like to do today. Cool. So if you notice, the hi-hats are doing straight quarter notes. They're kind of like the driving force of the beat, the steadiness that doesn't change and creates your tempo. Underneath those quarter notes, we have a bass snare pattern that's kind of three-based, not triplets, but the pattern itself is a repeating three in eighth notes. So you have bass, bass, snare, bass, bass, snare, bass, bass, snare, bass, bass, snare, bass, bass, snare. All right, counting for that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All right, cool. So let's look at how the hi-hat and the snare drum interact. They kind of have a pattern going where it's 1, 2, they're together on the 2, 3, and they're not together. And that repeats the whole thing, so it's kind of like together, not together, not together, as far as whenever the snare hits. So. Together, not, together, not, together, together, not, together, not, together. Counting for that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. All right. So now let's look at how the bass drum interacts with the hi-hat. You'll see that you kind of hit together on 1, bass drum's by itself on and. 2 is the snare drum, and then the bass drum's by itself on the and of 2, and then they're together on 3. So they actually have the repeating pattern that goes together, not, not together, together, not together. So let's kind of look at that. And you'll notice bass drum hits 3 and, snare drum is hitting 4 at the end of the pattern. And then I'm just resting on the and of 4 because that will help me loop back into the beat and kind of make it more flowing than if we were just to continue that pattern on and on. Alright, so when it comes time to put it all together, especially if you're kind of new to this, it might not flow right away. So I take it and just put it in my muscles beat by beat, not even worrying about so much being in the tempo as just getting that muscle memory to do it, to show your body, yeah, you can do this. So we're going to go really slow. Beat 1, bass and hi-hat. And of 1 is bass. Beat 2, snare and hi-hat. And of 2 is bass. 3, bass, hi-hat. Snare drum by itself on that and a 3. Together, bass drum, hi-hat on 4. Bass drum by itself on and. Together, hi-hat, snare on 1. Bass drum by itself on and. Bass, hi-hat on 2. Snare drum by itself on the and 2. Bass drum, hi-hat on 3. Bass drum on the and of 3. Hi-hat, snare on 4. Play that rest on the and of 4. Alright, so if you just did that along with me, you know you can do it. So now it's just time to put it into a tempo. We'll start out nice and slow. Try it a little slower for you guys. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 I hope you guys got it. Let me play it just a little faster for you. Cool, thanks. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you have fun learning it. If you have any requests or if you would like private lessons, please message me. I really appreciate it, everybody, and happy drumming. Thank you.